Greetings to you, my Christian brethren. I am Samuel Bolton, a herald of the gospel from the 17th century, and a privileged member of the renowned Westminster Assembly. I've been asked by a Puritan's mind to speak to you about the Christian duty of catechizing. This is an urgent matter, seeing that many ministers and laymen have a poor understanding of what this is and what it entails, often neglecting it, and yet God has commanded we do it. The 1647 Westminster Shorter Catechism, crafted by our scholarly divines, stands unparalleled in the heritage of the Christian Church, providing the most thorough but memorable explanation of Christian doctrine. Its design was to teach the younger generation the truth of Christ from childhood, in an easy-to-understand format. Such teaching enriches family worship and aids in the understanding of church doctrine for faith and practice. At its core, to catechize is a scriptural tenet. It involves teaching Christian principles, virtues, and morals through questions and answers. Such conversational exchanges can be found throughout the Scriptures, underscoring its vitality for the Lord's followers. Proverbs 22 verse 6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." This verse encapsulates the idea of laying a path for a child. This path must be laid by someone already acquainted with it, and who, by God's guidance, can rightly teach it. The term train up can also be synonymous with catechize. Parents bear this divine responsibility, which is illustrated in the questions and answers of such passages as Exodus 12 verses 25 through 27, dealing with the sacramental catechizing of the Passover. Or Christ's use of questions and answers, which he did constantly, in such verses as Mark chapter 8 verse 37. What shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Though other catechisms exist, the 1647 Westminster Shorter Catechism stands apart in its precision and depth, praised as the exemplary representation of Christian faith and doctrine, unparalleled to anything else written in history. Rooted in traditional lessons of the Apostles' Creed, 10 Commandments and Lord's Prayer, its structure is as follows. An introduction, questions 1 through 3. Beliefs, questions 4 through 38. Duties, questions 39 to 81. Man's sinful nature, questions 82 to 84. Finally, the means and conditions to salvation, questions 85 to 107. And these last questions are divided into the internal and external means of salvation. It may be you find that memorization is hard or difficult. Memorizing catechism questions is very helpful in order to soundly set doctrine clearly in our mind. If I were to ask you, what is sin? Would you be able to answer that precisely? Sin is any want of conformity unto, or transgression of, the law of God. And how would you scripturally prove this? 1 John 3 verse 4, "Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law." The Catechism gives us the answer and proof for question 14. And if such ideas were set in the minds of children as they grow, listening to sermons, reading books, family worship and such, would be much easier to grasp, as would the road of salvation in Jesus Christ. I earnestly beseech you all, ardently embrace and diligently practice this divine task for the good of yourselves and your children. If you do not own a copy of the Westminster Standards, Puritan Publications has commendably republished the original 1647 text, and I would heartily direct you there to obtain one. I heard the disheartening story of a Christian man looking for a church to attend in your day. When he visited with a local Presbyterian minister, he sat down in the minister's office and placed the Shorter Catechism on the desk in front of him. As the minister came in, he saw the book on his desk, tapped the book as he walked by and said, "I don't have any knowledge of that book at all." Such a minister in our day would be removed from his pulpit for negligence. But in your day, this seems to be widely accepted. Friends, catechizing is not merely the preservation of some tradition. It's our active role in the ceaseless relay of faith, handing down God's timeless covenant wisdom to the future of His church. What is the best method of learning but God's glorious method? In this resolved spirit, may we be driven to action to embrace God's process, ensuring His word thrives in us and to the generations that come next by teaching and admonishing others through learning our catechism. Amen.